live on the YouTube.
All righty.
A couple minutes early. It's an audience. You know, we need an audience.
Stand by for ludicrous speed.
Okay, my dear Greg Saunders.
Hey, go looking great. Your go. Greg Saunders.
Greg Saunders.
Greg Saunders!
Wow. Hey, great.
Good.
Look at it.
We interrupt this sound file to bring you a terrifying announcement.
Are you aware that you're leaking coolant at an alarming rate?
Show us the skills that have made you a media darling.
Well, I'm glad we got all that out in the open.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Saturday Morning Stateline Show.
Welcome to the big show. It might make way more sense if bachelor parties were something celebrated the night before a divorce instead of the night before a wedding. All I'm saying, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. My name is Greg. Tom Warner's here, and our special guest, the one and the only Professor Carl Cole, Mr. C, the master of positivity. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Uh-oh. Unmute Tom.
I thought I unmuted. There we go.
Buddy.
There we go.
Now you're good to go.
Yeah, and I got a visitor wanting to join here. Come on, cat, make up your mind.
What do we have?
You know, I have far too many animals, right, Greg?
Barney or Psycho trying to join us on the show today?
Well, this is actually Remy.
Remy.
Remy. There's Remy's tail there.
Carl, you got any pets running around your studio? Apparently Carl's not hearing us yet, Tom. I don't know why. But
I don't know, but that's a sweet looking piano there.
He's definitely there.
Yeah.
Can't hear me. Well, it must be on your end, Carl, because we're hearing each other. Okay.
He called us gentlemen.
Yeah.
Doesn't know us very well, does he?
He might not know us too well. We can hear each other, but not you. Okay, well, we'll see if we can get that fixed here. It is the 10th day of April, the year 2021, the latest it's ever been
in the history of mankind.
Absolutely correct. And we have a big number of the week this week, and I've got a sound effect for it, so I'm going to play it. Ready? Sound effect. Where are you going here? Thank you, sound effect. All right. So the big number of the week this week, 8 billion.
Right on!
Yes. 8 billion is the number. The answer this week is Harvard or humans. Harvard or humans. We'll play with Joann before the end of the show, give you the answer of all that stuff. Can you hear us yet, Carl? Are you hearing us?
I don't think so.
Oh, man. All right. Well, he's going to have to figure out what's going on with his audio. You keep working on that, Carl. Keep trying to hear us. All right. And it wouldn't make any sense to direct him to go to the YouTube stream because the delay would be way too much for us to have a conversation. So
Yeah.
Hopefully we can get this figured out here audio wise and why he cannot hear us today. This has been a pretty interesting week. Before we get into recapping our week and stuff, again, thanks to Sherry's Place for having us out last weekend.
Absolutely.
Hard to believe that was a week ago already.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, great food at Sherry's Place. Great service. There's just such a nice, friendly atmosphere. I always like Sherry's Place. And Greg, when you and I were doing the show at the radio station, we would hit Sherry's Place at least once a month, if not more. And I always enjoyed that. Right after the show, hey, let's head to Sherry's Place. That was kind of our little hangout. So I'm hoping we go back and do this again. You know, even if you and I just meet there, and maybe even Joann joins us after the show on a Saturday morning, I'd love that.
Yep, there you go. That's
so yeah.
To do that in a
because the show itself wasn't stellar in terms of production, and and it's just because it's technology.
Well, I don't have it sitting in front of me, Tom, but here's a replica. Here's at least an example of what did us in last week. A connector. There was
a connector.
One connector, which if I'd have been using this connector, it'd have been a little better situation. I had an old connector that I was using to plug in the two microphones that were being used by myself and Joann. And for some reason, the one that mine plugged into just wasn't being cooperative. You know those plugs that you plug them in all the way, and they don't work, but if you pull them out just slightly, then they do.
Oh yeah, that's called having a short.
Yes. So this little box I was using has a short in it. So both plugs that I had plugged into it, I had to pull out slightly so that they would work. And the microphone that Joann seemed to stay on the whole time, but the cordless mic that I was using was not working. So
no, it wasn't. And I could hear you because I was literally 3 feet from you. But that makes more sense now. I thought maybe it was my audio. I don't know.
No, I probably should have just went with one microphone. Just used the microphone that Joann was using and put it in the middle of the table for all of us.
That probably would have worked better.
I was concerned that the ambiance in Sherry's Place was going to be too noisy for us, but it really wasn't. Can you hear us now, Carl?
Nope.
Still no audio?
No. I wonder if his computer is simply turned down. Well, he'd still hear us.
He's still here. I can't tell if he's wearing earbuds. I don't know what audio he's trying to listen to us on. Got earbuds.
While you're figuring that out, you want me to tell you a little story about what happened to me on Friday?
So Friday, what happened to you on Friday?
All right, Friday, I'm coming home from Scott's, the guy I take care of. You know all about that. Probably the listeners do too. I was coming home down Alpine, and my car that I had literally just gotten back the day before, they thought it might be a battery, so they put a new battery in. All right, no problem. It started up fine on Friday morning. Went to do my job, got out of there. It's around 11:15 or whatever. And I'm driving down Alpine, the worst possible place to break down. Alpine and Newburgh, where Newburgh meets Broadway, right there. I was in the middle lane. I should have been in the far right or maybe left lane turning. That would have been better probably. And my car just simply died. So I put my flashers on, lifted my hood. And boy, I tell you what, this is a testament to how poorly people pay attention. People are honking at me. Can't you see my flashers on? Can't you see my hood up? One guy almost dusted me. He drove around so fast that he almost hit the guy. He was essentially cutting somebody off to get in. Almost hit my car. Almost hit another car as he got back in the other side. It was ridiculous. Anyway,
there's a hill right there too, so people are coming.
Yes, I was on a slight little incline, and so that made it even worse. Anyway, so I was there for about 5 minutes. I called my wife. She came down. She was going to jump me, and she did. She eventually made it down. That did not work. But in the meantime, a really super guy from F&F Tire Company, right across, just down on that same side of the street, it would be the east side of the street. He came over with a pickup truck, big old honking pickup truck. And I wondered what he was doing. He gets in my lane in front of me and pulls back a little bit when he got an opening. And he pulls off his trailer hitch, the cover that puts his trailer hitch in, and then pulls out a rope. And I'm like, oh, I hope this guy doesn't want money. I don't have any. I might have had, 20, 30, $50, whatever. But I didn't call for him.
Right.
And I would have gladly, I did offer him $20. He said, no, absolutely not. He did this out of the goodness of his heart. And I understand too, he's got a business and everything else. So he wanted safety is what he wanted. He says, I'd like to get you out of the middle of the road, because people were being very testy. I got a few fingers too. And I don't think they were telling me I was number one. I just don't get people. I just don't get them.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm just putting my pictures on and sitting here for the fun of it. That's all I was really wanting to do.
Yeah, I just decided I was just going to text. You know how you pull over to text? Yeah, I was just going to stop there and text. Anyway, so he pulled me off to the there's a little vacant lot there. He pulled me off into there and off he went. And so they are going to be getting a pizza at some point here. That was such a nice gesture. And I wanted people to know F&F Tire on Alpine, South Alpine. Just what nice guys they were. And they didn't have to do that, but he did, just out of the goodness of his heart. And as I said, I offered him money. He didn't take it. So, and it wouldn't have been a problem if he had. It would not have been a problem because I offered. He didn't ask. So that was how my Friday went. And then it was just a comedy of errors the whole time. I went to the grocery store. After my wife got me, I took her back to work. And then by that time, I was hungry. I'm diabetic, so I was really hungry. I dug into the bottom of my bag, my computer bag, and I always have candy in there. I had about 4 pounds of candy. So my sugar was way high. I was a mess. So.
Well, I'm glad you survived.
We got Carl.
We're getting Carl in, I think, in a different capacity here. Can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so
I'm gonna leave the.
Yeah, you're gonna need to use.
And you'll need to unmute as well.
A headphone or something, so we can avoid the feedback. All right, he's still there. He's still in the room. We just got to get him to unmute. Sometimes it's easier to use the phone. By the way, for those who are watching on YouTube, I'm also on my phone on Facebook, but I don't want you to go to Facebook because you'll only see me and you'll hear us all, but you'll only see me on Facebook as we've been doing here to try to promote our YouTube channel. Come on over to the YouTube side so you can see us all. And there we go. There we go. We can do it via phone, Carl. That works for us.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something.
Sorry, go ahead.
Funny. My son did a recording project in the wee hours of the morning while I was asleep. And I think that sometimes when he does it, he does something and then the audio is muted or something on the PC. So I'm going to get him when he gets up.
Oh man, hog tie him and don't feed him for a day.
That's right.
That's my pet peeve is when somebody doesn't put something back the way they found it.
Exactly.
Oh man,
I'm not
just kidding
asking
about the
for
hog
any special
tie
treatment.
thing.
I just want things back to the way they were. That's all. That's all.
Right. That's right.
It doesn't even have to be better, just the same. That's all.
Man.
Well, we're just kind of setting things up here, Carl, and Tom was telling us about his stall situation on Alpine and Newburgh Friday night, which was just fun. Last Sunday, of course, was Easter, and had an awesome Easter with family, seeing some family and some new. We've got a new little. Our niece has a little boy now. That's just, what is he? He's old now. It's just wonderful, when you've got cousins and nieces and nephews starting to have kids and the family's growing. It's a beautiful thing. So Sunday night, the wife and I, climb into bed as we normally do. And we're exhausted from our day of visiting and having fun with family. And at about 12:35 a.m. Monday morning, a front rolled through Rockford. Did either of you hear any thunder or see any lightning overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning?
Not a significant amount, not that I can remember. I know it rained, but that was about it.
I heard something.
Okay. So I can tell you pretty much precisely 12:35 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I thought our house was struck by lightning.
Oh my goodness.
It was the flash, the boom, our bedroom light turned on. Because whenever we get a power outage out here, as soon as the power comes back on, the ceiling fan light in our bedroom turns on. It's just an automatic. I don't know why, but that's what it does. So flash, boom, spark, lights on. Faster than I just said it. That happened to us. So the wife and I jump out of bed. We're like, what just happened? Our dog's freaking out. And we both saw a spark from our ceiling, which is why I thought this lightning strike hit our house.
Oh my goodness.
So I run downstairs to check the breaker box. Nothing tripped. I run upstairs to see if anything smells like smoke or anything. I literally checked the attic because I want to know what happened. Well, it turns out the lightning struck our water supply house out here.
Oh no.
In our neighborhood. So all day Monday, we were without water in our neighborhood.
Oh no.
The water main burst at some point, and it's so we had no water in our neighborhood all day Monday. It turns out the spark we saw from our ceiling came from the television set in our bedroom.
Oh my Lord.
And I'm sure you guys have heard stories before about how weird lightning is.
Mm-hmm.
It strikes something, and why certain things don't get shorted out and other things do, nobody can explain. It's the weirdest thing. So in a typical house full of electronics, I'm worried that, did all my TVs get fried or anything like that? And it was just the one TV in our bedroom that got fried. The Comcast cable box in our bedroom was toast.
Oh.
And our Wi-Fi router. It still looked like it worked, but something got fried inside, so it wasn't producing Wi-Fi anymore.
You can do without water, but you can't do without Wi-Fi. Let's face it.
Oh, you're almost right there. But I tell you what, it changes your perspective when you realize you don't have water to flush your toilets, my friend.
Oh, hey, and there's no snow out there, so you can't melt snow to flush it.
No. So I was going to get a couple 5-gallon pails filled with water somewhere else just to have it so we could flush our toilets, and thankfully by the end of the day, Monday, they had gotten things fixed up enough that water was flowing to all our houses again. But it was late. It was late in the day on Monday. All that to say, the storm after that lightning strike, I think maybe we heard 3 other rumbles of thunder after that strike. Weird storm. Just we didn't hear it coming, and you barely heard it leaving. It's very odd. And the tech that Comcast sent out to help us out, which what day was that? I think Wednesday he came out. Super nice guy. I get a lot of compliments about my middle son, Kenny, who does the information technology stuff at our office. They love the fact that he's a tech nerd, but he doesn't talk down to people. You know what I'm talking about? The snooty tech guys who know everything. Get out of the way. I'll fix this for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Kenny's totally the opposite of that guy. And this guy that Xfinity sent out, same awesome, super nice dude. Very courteous, checked everything out. Are you planning on doing this? Would you like me to check that? Replace the box that was fried, no problem. And he had this really cool little gadget. It was a TV the size of your cell phone, but it was a TV. And he plugged that thing in a couple different places to test to make sure the new TV box was working, and checked out our Wi-Fi router a couple different ways and stuff. And it was helped me install the old router, so at least we could have Wi-Fi until we get a brand new router back in here again. So kudos to the Xfinity Tech guy that was sent out here from DeKalb, helping out Rockford after that. Very, very awesome gentleman. And then one more thing before we get too far, I want to wish Titus a happy 7th birthday. Titus is my first grandson. He hit the big 7 yesterday. He's incredibly awesome, super dude. And I wish we were with him, but I'm sure we'll see him over the summer. So happy birthday to Titus.
A little Cowboy fan, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he's in really much of a football fan yet, but hopefully we can save him from Cowboy Nation.
Yeah.
Carl,
who's your favorite team?
Yeah, who's your favorite team, Carl?
Oh man, for me, it's kind of like with music and politics. I just kind of go with the flow, and I'm all over the place. I don't know.
If you invite me on the bandwagon, I'll jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair. I'm one of those guys, Carl, that Tom and I are both Packers fans. Okay. So number one team has always been the Packers.
Yep.
Packers, Brewers. Tom, I think, leans towards Cubs.
I'm
I got tons of relatives in Milwaukee and in that area, so they all are.
Brewers and the Badgers and the Bucks. I'm a Wisconsinite. I grew up there. So, but I'm one of those guys that when my team loses or doesn't get into the playoffs or loses in the playoffs, then I'm rooting for the other regional team. And the hardest one to ever root for is the Bears. But I'll root for the Bears. I'd rather see the Bears win the Super Bowl than the AFC. Okay. That's Tom's not the same way, but
no way. Vikings, Bears. No, Detroit. I wouldn't mind seeing because Detroit has never won anything.
Right.
but when you're talking baseball, okay, you're Cardinals, I'm Cubs, you're Brewers, Cubs. We both are united in our hatred for the Cardinals, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
I got a friend at trivia every week. He reminds me he's a Cardinals fan. He's always proudly wearing his Cardinals shirt. And
they've had a long line of dominance. So I give them kudos for their long history of dominance over there. But
they've had 11 world championships, 11 World Series wins, second only to the Yankees, who have had 27. And then beyond that, I think Boston's got maybe 7 or 8. So they're fully entrenched in second place.
Yep. Well, we need to thank El Nita.
Yes.
Connected us, Carl?
Yes, who was actually Kim Romero, El's mom.
Tom, you hit it on the head earlier.
Yeah.
He said that name, and I said, no, it wasn't Kim.
So Elle is her movie star daughter, who's the president of our kids group. But her mom is the Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Odd, ODD. Is that what you said?
That's more contemporary, but I tried to articulate Oz, but I understand the latter.
Okay, yeah. Well, I wasn't making any statements. It just sounded like you said odd. But maybe there's more to that than we know.
Got to be odd in the 21st century.
Yeah, right.
Right.
By way of introduction on this, let's see if we can play this quick, short little video so that people know why Carl's on the show today. And let's see, I want to share screen. I want to go here and play this. Power of Unity, Young Eagles Success. And that's really cool stuff,
Yes.
Carl. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the short girl that was in the middle with the Asian guy, that's Elenita. That's Kim's daughter, who's the president of this youth group, and the Asian guy is the vice president of this youth group. And so you can imagine how exhilarating I am to be able to visualize the power of unity, because we talk about unity a lot, but if it's all chickens, it's not unity for birds. So you got to have other birds in it. And so the Young Eagle Success Club was inspired really when I was a little kid myself by my mom. So it's kind of like I'm the big Yes Club first member. And then after almost 50 years now, I'm kind of running it.
So you kind of credit mom for getting things started.
Yes, absolutely, because she taught us positive behavior, academic achievement, and she taught us about social emotional stuff, and the ugly duckling, and then turned out it wasn't a duckling at all, it was a swan, that kind of stuff. And so with the Yes Club, my wife Diana, who's the director of education, we work together to teach character to young people. And we're finding out that that's really the foundation of how you can promote anti-crime and anti-violence and all that. You got to teach kids against it. And if you don't do that, it's going to be far-fetched to try to bend an old oak tree. You have to bend the sapling.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really a worthwhile program that I can't believe how long we've been doing it. And we've done some things with the Rockford Park District where we've represented them in Springfield at the state fair. And last year they shut it down because of COVID, but we just got an email that we're going to be back for 2 shows this August.
That's good.
And so
is this picture, by the way, is this your mom standing or playing the piano?
My mom is standing. That's my sister on the piano. I'm the little guy on the far left that's looking into the camera instead of singing.
You're the youngest of the Coles?
I'm the youngest. And so
All
if you know Clyde or Steve or Mike or all of them, I'm their brother, the youngest one. So I'm carrying the baton. That picture was in the 1963 Illinois History magazine because they were celebrating the centennial of the Emancipation Proclamation. And they were just going throughout Illinois to see if they could find any extraordinary stories. And this one lady came to Freeport, which there was a debate by Lincoln and Douglas in Freeport.
Yeah.
And so they found us singing, and lo and behold, Mom was in there. We were also in the 65 book too. So I didn't have a lot of choice to do music. I never knew how to get scared. It was just, Carl, get out here and start singing. So I didn't even know what it meant to be scared. So I just got
Stop
out
looking in the camera and sing.
Well, there's some stories that I lifted my sister's dress and punched a cake, put my fist in the cake. Now, I don't believe all that stuff, but that's what everybody else says I did.
It sounds kind of like a typical toddler stuff, Carl. I think they're probably true stories.
Well, there were no cell phones back then, so we don't really have video coverage of it, but
that's the only defense I have in the 21st century. But I will tell you that it really made my life go in the direction of where I needed to do community service. And so always been in church, started playing in church when I was 10. I'm going to be 60 in September. And made my first $25 when I was 11 playing for a wedding just because I knew how to play the songs. I couldn't read music, taught myself how to read music, never had a lesson. And so just have had a full life of music. But music is such a universal language, and it's in all cultures, that was in my favor to try to help kids, because kids like interesting stuff, exciting stuff. So you have to kind of be a step ahead of them if you can. So I walk in a room when I do a workshop with a bag of candy and they say, "Are those Kit Kats?" And I'll say, no, they're bowling balls. No, those are Kit Kats. I said, oh, okay, they're Kit Kats. I said, I wonder who's gonna get them. And Greg and Tom, can you believe these kids will say, us if we listen and act nice and are respectful? I said, oh, okay, good. And the leaders of these after school programs are just in amazement. How did Mr. C come in here and get their attention in seconds? Well, because of cheeseburgers and French fries and cookies, and that's how you get their attention.
Absolutely.
You win my
And-
attention with Kit Kats every time, Carl.
Yeah, Greg's favorite candy bar is Kit Kat. Carl, I just want to say, from my perspective, thank you so much for the work you do. I love it when somebody has a gift from God and they use it. You say you had no musical training or anything because you're gifted and you're using your gift. There's nothing more disheartening than when somebody has a gift and they throw it away. They don't use it. You're not only using it for music to entertain people, but you're teaching kids and making a difference and an impact on kids' lives. That is huge. That is huge. We need so many more Carl Coles in the world.
Oh my goodness.
I wish I had musical talent. I wish I did, because I have a piano that I bought that I that's all I can do. And I've had it for 10 years. I want to learn how to play piano, but I'm not gifted with it. So my gifts
Well,
are other things like good
so
looks,
much.
you know.
Thank you so much,
You're
Tom.
welcome.
And thank you so much, Greg, because see, you guys care. And that's why your program is so significant on the World Wide Web, because you actually want to explore and discuss things that can make things better. And most people don't, they just say, oh, did you hear what that 10-year-old just said? I can't believe what came out of her mouth. Well, you should believe what came out of her mouth, because that same stuff came out of a lot of mouths around her, because that's how kids learn it.
Yeah, you're right.
And so for me, one of the things that we're trying to do, and I know you gentlemen will catch this real quick, what we're trying to do is be in alignment with what's going on a national scale, which is actually global, by the way, when you talk about social and racial injustice, and when you talk about things like disunity and all of that. So we created a Healing America Today vision, where we are promoting what we call the Power Up projects, where we're doing more music videos. We're in the process of bringing in a few more members, because we need different ethnicities in our core group, which I'm trying to get about 10 or 15. We've got probably 8. But I need, when we show up, you need to see unity. And then we sing about unity, because all the songs are original, all the songs I write, so we don't have any copyright issues. And then we have kids who sing. And one thing I found out, kids have tons of talent. A lot of people don't even know it. They can sing, dance, write poetry, draw art. I drew art in school. Now I do graphic design. It's like, you got to turn kids loose, but you still have to have a system of support. I call it SOS, where it's a 911 for kids. And they've got to be able to hear if Mr. Saunders says that you guys shouldn't chew gum when you're singing, or if Mr. Warner said that you guys shouldn't fight backstage in between performances, they might listen to you guys, because they don't hear it. And in the street, they're not telling you not to do wrong in the street. They're saying, get him, or they're saying, oh, this is a cool robbery going on and we caught it on tape. That's not cool. It's cool that you caught it on tape so that we can have evidence to use as a teaching tool to teach you guys to not do it.
Right. But instead of calling 911 like you should have, you let them get away. Maybe you got video evidence, but it's about doing the right thing, but it's also about consistency, being consistent as a leader, and teaching kids, walking them down the right path. And when they start to stray, you simply put them back on track. And I know this from raising 3 of my own kids, but now having grandkids,
yes,
they will listen. All I have to do is say, you know what, put your toys away now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And because they perceive Greg and Tom, they perceive that you care about them if you
Yes.
told them to get out of the street. Because if nobody's saying get out of the street, just go ahead and get hit, and then we're going to talk about it for the rest of the month, and then we'll see, wait till somebody else gets stabbed or shot.
Yeah.
But when you guys tell them, hey, you guys need to check out the Yes Club website, because we have workshops online that's teaching about good grades and good behavior. We have acronyms where we use peace as positive energy and character excellence, things like that, cute, fun things like that. And so, the website is just packed full of stuff. It's got calendars. We have new Zoom meetings now where we get on. You can register and get on the Zoom. And I just sent some information to the Rockford Public Schools regarding their special support system and social emotional. Well, guess what? Kids are online anyway. They're online with TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Kids are online. So that's where you have to go get them, and you have to fish for them. A fish is not going to jump into your boat because he wanted to jump into it. So you have to do something, some kind of bait. You have to do something that is going to make kids interested in you helping them to help themselves be better. And so for me, as far as education, me and my wife have masters in divinity. We have counseling emphases. I have a master's in music just because I didn't want to look dumb to not have one.
You could have probably taught the class.
Right?
You probably should have taught the class.
So Sounds of Good News Productions is what I created when I graduated from high school at Freeport High School, one of the pretzels, in 1979. Went straight to NIU because I had an uncle that was a vice president of athletics, who was Deacon Davis, McKinley Deacon Davis, who played on the Globetrotters years ago. That was my uncle.
That's where I've heard the name. Yes, absolutely.
So I went straight to NIU, and so that November and Thanksgiving break, my first break from my first year in college in 79, that was when I was inspired to do Sounds of Good News Productions, because I was in and out of the studio in Chicago for different people and just playing and writing and arranging. But it really became something when I decided to do it. I was 18 years old. And so we celebrate 42 years of business this year.
That is awesome. All right, Carl, I got a question. You can admit it. It's just us here. Did you ever have to kind of dumb it down with your classes so as not to show up the teacher?
Of course, because back in my time, racism was a big thing, but
yeah,
I didn't know about it because we didn't really learn it in my family.
Good.
So my mom and my dad passed when I was 12, but the short time I knew him, he played the piano, sang. He was a constructor, built buildings. And what I didn't know was really this deepness about racism, because I was always involved in music and drama and everything in school, art, and everybody liked me. So I had friends of all cultures, and I never had a problem with racism. But the funny thing is that I think that people were surprised that I got straight A's and a few B's here and there. If I got a C, I felt bad about myself, and graduated with like a 3.7 back in 79 as a Black kid. And so I really have to say that sometimes I was like trying not to shout out the answer, because I didn't want anybody to have anxiety to say, did you hear that the Black guy said that it was e pluribus unum was one out of many? I mean, I didn't want to start any problems with that, but I also was very mouthy. I got good report cards, but I always had a check mark where it said that I needed to refrain from unnecessary talking. It took me a while to get that,
Well, it's sad when you feel like, of course, the unnecessary talking, of course, we all get that, but it's sad when you feel like you can't contribute because there may be ramifications for doing the right thing. There's nothing sadder than that. But,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think the biggest issue that we face, yeah, racism, all of that stuff, but I think it's just a general hatred created by those who want to divide. And the biggest divider of all, of course, we know is Satan. Without turning this into a religious forum, we know that. We know that. We have to be conscious of the fact that we are up against powers and principalities. We are up against the one who wants to divide all of us. So
absolutely. And that really helped me because we're playing in church and coming from a religious family, and really generally the Black culture is religious and spiritual, and that's just all I knew was God. But I had my own experience about God. I busted out crying when I was 10 years old. Nobody was around, so I knew it must have been something strange because I wasn't going to cry about anything. And just to think about, like you mentioned, the principalities and powers, but a lot of the leadership that makes it okay to do things that are not okay. And kids see it on television, they see it online. So, when it's easy for them to get drugs, it's easy for them to get a gun from somewhere. I got called, me and my wife got called to do some, and this clip is on our website somewhere, but we had to give our opinion for a couple of news people regarding a couple of things. One of them was when 4 teens robbed this guy. 2 of them were 12.
Oh,
The oldest one was 15 maybe. And these kids drove up in a gold car. It's like, oh, tell me all about it. Let me see your driver's license. It's like, what? They drove up in a gold car, threatened him. One of them had a gun. So Greg and Tom, I know you understand that I have made a commitment to be glad to be mad making a difference, because I'm going to do something about it. Yeah, I'm going to do something about it. Now, if I can't fix anything, and I learned a long time ago, you can't fix people, but you might be able to inspire them to fix themselves. And that's really what the Yes Club does. And so, people just kind of sometimes brush over when they see my posts on Facebook, but I'm very blessed that I do have a positive history. So a lot of people know me, have seen me, and a lot of people think of me as a positive person. So at least I'm in the category where kids could listen and trust me, and I don't have a bad reputation. So, in Proverbs 22:1, King Solomon said, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches and loving favor than silver and gold. So now that I'm on this big shot Stateline show today, there's no telling what'll happen. Greg, I might have to split some of this stuff. Who knows what all donations will fly in after I've been with you 2 movie stars.
We'll try not to let it all go to our head.
Carl, one thing that comes to mind, I don't know if you saw the movie God's Not Dead with Kevin Sorbo. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch it.
Your kids will love it too. Your Yes kids will love it.
Oh, absolutely. One kid stands out in a group of Kevin Sorbo, who actually is a man of God. He's a Christian. He is playing the professor who is very, very completely anti-God, almost an atheist. And he's encouraging his kids to all write on a paper, God is dead. Well, one kid out of 85 says, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. He caught a lot of heat. He said, Kevin Sorbo, the teacher, said, you can all pass this class with an A if you all do it. All of you have to. And they were mad at him, and they were throwing things at him and all that. And he held out, and he did the right thing. And throughout the course of the movie, I won't give it away, but throughout the course of the movie, it's such a great learning tool. I strongly, strongly encourage you to get that film, show it to your Yes kids. They will really get something out of it. Your story kind of reminds me of that. That's what popped into my head when you were talking about, at the age of 10 years old, you're breaking down and crying out. And I assume you meant crying out to God. I think it's so awesome, especially at that age. I can understand you're 22 and you wake up drunk or whatever, and you realize something's wrong, but you're 10 years old. And when God speaks to your heart and you listen at the age of 10, powerful, powerful stuff.
Wow.
Hi, Joann.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, is that Harold Crunk thing starring Kevin Sorbo? Is it that one?
It's called God's Not Dead.
Yeah, God's Not Dead.
Yeah, because I'm looking at that right now. It says that it starred Kevin Sorbo and Shane Harper, and so I just want to make sure I have the right one.
Yeah, you probably do.
The Newsboys song.
Oh
God
yeah,
Is
the
Not
Newsboys.
Dead is featured in the movie, and that would be something that your kids would love to sing too. I've DJ'd numerous parties, especially like Christian Life schools have their father, daughter, mother, son
Yeah.
special
Uh-huh.
nights, and all the kids they know all the song, words to the song, and
Right.
love
Mhm.
yelling it out. So
Yes.
I
Directed by
appreciate
Harold
that.
Kronk. I'm sorry to interrupt, but you're right.
Well,
You got
no,
the
that
right one.
wasn't an interruption, and I'm going to tell you why I appreciate this show, because one of the things to me that I've gotten some flack for is introducing spirituality in our workshops. And so the schools, you simply cannot say God. Hi, Joann. You simply cannot say God. You can't say Jesus. But do you not know that I go in there and I'll teach something and they'll say, isn't that in the Bible? Well, it was the golden rule. And so
yeah.
then you'll have one of these smart aleck kids in the back of the room. Isn't that something Jesus said? So these leaders all around listening, But for me, I'm just saying, if you crack the door of the kitchen, I'm going to come in there because I want to go in the refrigerator. So they crack the door.
Student-led, they can't give you any guff if it's student-led.
Can't do it, because then the kids, I've even had kids say, Mr. C, will you pray for us? We need help so we can act better. And the leaders are just looking like, oh my God, what's he going to do? So I prayed for him. But the funny thing is that when you think about the presence of God in young people's lives, whether they might be decide to commit to be a Christian or not, but for them to know there is a way out.
Yep.
I just think that that's so important that at least they have that alternative, but to not tell them anything. I've had kids say, Mr. C, you're a preacher, aren't you? Well, that wasn't my fault because, most men and women in the Black culture, we're so charismatic and we're so excited about what we do that people think that we're in church. It's like we're in church all the time. They say, oh, Mr. C, that was like we were in church. And I was like, no, I'm just trying to get you guys not to fight.
And then I don't want to get in trouble either. So,
Right. Well, Carl, we need to wrap this up. We don't normally go this long with guests, but we did share on our Facebook
I
post.
did it again.
You're good.
No,
You're good.
not at all. This is thoroughly enjoying.
Absolutely.
We want to have you
Absolutely.
back.
If we were a 2-hour show, we'd be glad to just sit and chat with you for another half an hour or longer. But we try to keep things to a 1-hour package every week.
Well,
We've
thank
shared
you.
your Facebook page on our Facebook page and that sort of
Wonderful.
stuff too. If people want to contribute or find out more, check
Great.
out yesclubcep.us.
Mm-hmm.
Yesclubcep.us.
Get out 3 times.
So, thank you
Carl,
for coming
real
on the
quick,
show,
how
Carl.
somebody-
One last thing, Tom. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to know how somebody can get a hold of you. I want to shoot you an email.
Okay.
Do you have an email address that you can give out? You're willing to give out or not?
Of course. Yes, it is C as in Cole, SOGN as in Sounds of Good News.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I did see that.
At
But go ahead.
AOL. Yeah.
At AOL.
That's how old
Yeah.
Carl Cole is, friends.
I was going to say AOL. You know what
Well,
AOL
it's what-
stands for?
I tell you,
Stands for I'm old.
the only reason I'm doing America Online right now is because I can do tons of different addresses without paying more.
There you go. That's cool.
Back then, now you got to pay for every single one. I can get like 5, 6 of them with one account, and they're all free. So
I
still
never would have
hanging
went to
on.
Gmail if it wasn't for business.
Well, I've got Gmail too because I had to do that because of Google Drive and all that. But
Well, thanks for coming on our show. We're sharing your stuff, and we'll have to have you back sometime, Carl.
thanks for having me. Thanks for being part of the solution. And we just keep talking about it, and then we hope that we'll be walking about it more and more together.
Let's promote your state fair
Absolutely.
appearance or something, the next time we have you on.
I'll keep you posted, my friends.
Awesome. Thanks so much,
And I'm
Carl.
turning 60 in September, so you guys got to be a part of that.
September what?
25th.
Oh, I'm the 29th. So that's all right. That's all
I'll be
right.
60 before you know it.
Yeah, so will I, unfortunately. You'll be 60
Thank
a
you so
year
much,
and
gentlemen.
a
You
year
made my
before me.
day. Well, thank you so much. You made my day. I appreciate you being a bright light in our world. It's still a little dark out in some places.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
got it. What you focus on expands. Let's focus on unity. Let's focus on light.
That's it.
That's
Like
right.
that very much.
That's it. That's
All
it.
right. We've got some
God bless.
Saturday morning Stateline show stuff to share, including our SMS info. We'll run through this real quick, Joann, so we can take a quick look around at what's going on over at Paws Humane Society this week. SMS info, according to mystateline.com, the Rockford City Council unanimously approved the 4th of July fireworks celebration and the parade, and the Memorial Day parade was also approved. So plans for the 4th
Did he
of July,
just get out again?
plans for July include the parade and 4 music stages downtown, plus the 30-minute fireworks show. So very excited about that. Mosaic in Rockford, they have 8 group homes that need some yard work to be done. If you have a group that can help, let them know. Mosaic will coordinate a day for your group in May that works for your group. Contact Tammy English over there at Mosaic, 815-387-8390. And she would be
He
glad.
doesn't seem hard to catch,
coordinate
though.
your group. You might have heard in the news too, Ingersoll in Rockford, they're expanding its campus for a very special project. They're assembling an 1,800-ton mount for the Giant Magellan Telescope. That's a little mind-boggling. It's scheduled to be installed in an observatory on a remote mountain in Chile in 2027, 6 years. They're going to start assembling and getting that together right here in Rockford at Ingersoll. Barbecue lovers, you'll be happy to know Smoke and Coop Barbecue Pit in Belvedere is open for the season now. Their sandwiches and sides and that amazing brisket. It's all back, baby. Smoke and Coop Barbecue. For years, they've been selling Klondike bars during their cruise nights.
They should put him in the
Donate
community
the
role.
proceeds to benefit St. Jude's Research Hospital. St. Jude Christian.
Yeah, he
St.
seems
Jude Children's
friendly.
Research Hospital. So thanks to them for that. And real quick, some randoms. It was canceled last year, but there will be a national spelling bee this July. Godzilla versus Kong at the box office, 48.5 million over its first 5 days, the biggest since the pandemic hit. Either one of you guys chew Bazooka bubblegum back in the day?
Oh, absolutely. Love Bazooka Joe and the little comics.
Bazooka
Is that where
Joe.
you got the comics?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wrapped up. It was in the package, wrapping around the actual gum.
And they always had those like little things you could buy, like you could buy your own submarine.
Or sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Bazooka Gum and card company Topps is planning on going public later this year. They are using an SPAC merger to go public, and they're eyeing the NFT space. And if you don't know what I just said, I don't either. Haven't seen any of these around Rockford yet, but Rolls-Royce sold 1,380 cars in the first quarter of this year. That's up 62% of last year. Apparently demand for their 3-ton SUV is giving them a boost. Their 3-ton SUV, Tom and Joann, only runs $335,000.
Oh, is that all?
That's all. Rolls-Royce SUV. By the way, for reference, Toyota sold 78,000 Camrys in the first quarter of this year. So that's, there's your numbers. UPS is taking flight with an agreement to purchase 10 small electric aircraft known as eVTOLs from Beta Technologies. They're with an option to buy 150 more. Facebook is now going to start attaching satire labels to stories coming from satire media, like the bee. What's it called? The bee thing. I forgot the satire site. There's a bunch of them out there, but they're going to make sure you know that there's satire sites because we're not smart enough to figure that out. And finally, researchers say a hug that is intended to make someone feel better should last at least 6 seconds. So when you're trying to help someone feel better, give them a hug that lasts at least 6 seconds or more. And of course, ask permission first, COVID and everything else. All right. So there's our SMS info for the week. Joann is back at the Paws Humane Society headquarters today over by the Cherryvale Mall. Do we want to take a tour today, Joann, or what do you think?
We could take a quick tour.
We have time. Sure, go ahead. Let's take a look at what's there. Last week, of course, we were all at Sherry's place, and we didn't have any live animals on the show, except for Tom.
Tom,
Yeah.
this
All
is Rip,
Spotlight. There we go.
very noisy little guy. Lambrusco, we've had him on the show before.
He's kind of a whiner.
Yeah, they're talking to us this morning. There's a couple of kittens.
Oh, I want them all.
This is Sadie. I don't remember if Sadie's been on. This is the pet of the week this week. Sadie is a older cat. She's a long-haired tortie. Her owner died and left her animals. Family brought them to Paws. So this is Sadie. She's a beautiful cat. It says she likes dogs and cats, so
Just got her posted on her Facebook page there with what you sent me this
we've
morning.
got some empties this week. There's kind of a shy one under there.
Oh, there's, yep.
This
way
is
down the corner.
Leave me
Stevie
alone.
Sings about you.
I didn't have this was, we have a three-legged cat in here. Lost her leg. But they're not walking. It's doing pretty good.
Is her name Trinity?
Ah.
I'm just saying.
It's Callan, stray with badly injured leg that had to be amputated.
Hmm.
I think he might be back there resting. You know, by the time we get in here, they're already fed, so they're kind of,
They're calming down. They're
Yeah.
ready for their post-dinner nap.
it's kind of quiet in here this week. We've got a lot of cats that have been adopted.
Yay. That's good news.
And then there's two orange kitties in here. Another noisy group. He's got a low voice. Complaining to the man.
Yeah,
he's
like a-
meant to bu-
Striped tail. Look at that tail. That's cool.
Yeah.
Looks like a candy cane.
I think that's it for cats. Like I said, we're kind of empty this week.
Well, we'll take that as good news. Adoptions are good news.
Are going good. We do have some dogs, but not at the shelter. They're all in foster.
Okay. As always, check out the website for more information about pets available to be adopted. Check out pawshs.org, pawshs.org. You can call for more info too, 815-299-PAWS, 815-299-7297.
I
We've
switched
post-
it over. I'm sorry.
We've posted our Dad Joke with Bill on Facebook, so you can check that out there. All right.
But we don't get to hear it live.
What happened here? I apparently I deleted some. Oh, there we go. We do have a big number of the week this week. Are we ready to play? Come on. 8 billion.
Right on.
8 billion is the big number of the week this week. And the answer is humans or Harvard. Humans or Harvard. We're starting a brand new game. Joann won round one of the year 2021, if you want to call it that, I guess. Nobody got a correct answer last week at Sherry's place. Humans or Harvard? What's your guess? Tom and Joann, 3, 2, 1, go.
Humans.
Harvard.
Ooh.
Yay.
Ooh. So someone
We're
is going
going
to
to have a winner.
So,
Yeah.
have you heard of Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss?
Yes. Winklevoss twins, Facebook.
There you go. Tom knows. They are the Harvard rowing twins. They sued Mark Zuckerberg for ownership of Facebook. They won some money. They didn't win the case, I don't think, but they
But
won.
not as much as Joanne won.
Undisclosed amount.
So here's the apparently the undisclosed amount was about $65 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. Okay. So the Winklevoss twins, they've rolled that money into some other stuff. And as reported by Forbes, they've built a multi-billion-dollar fortune with that money, mainly with a big bet on Bitcoin. They started investing in crypto assets in the year 2012, back when it was $8. $8. Now a Bitcoin is worth about $58,000. They turned a $10 million bet into a $6 billion fortune. So $6 billion, Harvard, not the answer. Humans is correct, Joann. You got a point. We have
9 more to go.
We have roughly 8 billion humans on the planet right now, on the planet Earth. And it is estimated that 108 billion people have been born since the foundation of the world. 8 billion now out of the 108 billion ever born. Is that comforting or is that terrifying?
It's kind of terrifying, actually.
It's a little terrifying, isn't it? It's a little scary to think that about 10%, or maybe 8% of all humans that have ever lived are living right now.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying that to scare people into thinking the Earth is going to be overpopulated, because it's not. Okay, it's the Earth will never overpopulate. There's always going to be things to keep the population in check, like pandemics. So
yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't worry about overpopulating the Earth.
Well, they say you could take the actual population of the Earth and put them all in Texas.
That's right.
You'd be close. You'd be close by, but literally.
You could fit 7 or 8 billion people in the state boundaries of Texas, and every family of 4 would have a quarter-acre plot of land to live off of.
Yeah, because between China and India, there's almost half of that.
Right.
Almost half of it. About 3.5, 3.6 billion of them are just in China.
Okay, I have my point.
On our race to 10, Joann leads 1-0.
All right. Hey, before we go, can I talk about one thing real quick?
Yep, throw it out there.
All righty. Might have to, I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me put mine on gallery view. All right, this is, it says 50 days of fire. Oh, there we are. 50 days of fire. This is something going on at my church, Riverside Assembly of God. It's 4242 Riverside. It's been going on for the past week. It's going to go for 50 days, which is from Easter to the day of Pentecost. Those are the 50 days. Something new every single night. It's a good time. I haven't been yet. I didn't get to go this week. I'm going tonight. My wife's been going every night, but I just wanted to put that out there. 50 Days of Fire at Riverside. It's something very inspiring. It's, basically it's church service. It's a 2-hour church service. Next week, we're going to have an evangelist coming in. That's basically what it is. So just invite anybody to come. And if you do, find me and say you saw it on this broadcast, and you'll get a nice pat on the back.
Awesome.
Saturday night.
A cup of coffee or something. Well, it's every night for the next now 43, 44 days. It's going 50 days in a row. So
check it out. All right, friends. Remember, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week, and we'll try to do the same to meet you back here for another Saturday morning Stateline show. Tom, Joann, have a wonderful, wonderful week.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Later, y'all.